Well, for the majority of the month of January, we've seen a lot of stormier weather, colder weather, and heavy precipitation land-based the western half of the country, primarily California, of course, where we've seen a significant dent in the drought. But we do have a pattern change as we go in through this weekend. Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday edition of Vogan's US Outlook, looking at the GFS snowfall over the next 10 days, and you can see here that you can see the shift in the pattern here, because we've got more in the way of snowfall through the Midwest, something that we haven't seen in recent times. We've got, of course, got a system that's been pushing through the upper Midwest, and we are also going to be talking about a major 4-day lake effect snowstorm that is going to potentially drop upwards of 40 inches of snow downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. And the reason why is because we've got only 6% of the Great Lakes covered in ice at the moment here. It has been a very, very mild January thus far in the eastern half of the country, and that is telling, because you don't typically see at the end of January heavy lake effect snowfall, because most of the time Lake Erie is largely ice covered by now, but that is not the case this year. We also do have another system coming into the west, but at the moment we've got high pressure in control, so we're catching a break from the excessive rain and snow that we've seen in California and the west in recent times here. But let's have a quick look at the surface chart here, folks, because you can see exactly where we're at now, with high pressure in the west, low pressure in the east. We've got a very stiff northwesterly wind blowing this weekend, and of course, with still um, ice-free Great Lakes, that is going to result in very significant snowfall. Like I say, we could see parts of the Tug Hill Plateau of New York receive upwards of 40 inches of snow over the next 4-day period here. So very significant, of course. But let's get back to the current chart for today, for this morning, and you can see here the surface analysis here of the GFS model. So high pressure, very strong surface high pressure at that over the west. Nothing particularly warm. We've got heights in the kind of 534, 540 range, so it is still chilly air. It's not particularly warm, like I say, but we certainly have the focus of the chill in the eastern half of the country. And we're also going to start to see, as we go through next week, systems coming in, kind of almost clipper-like systems coming down from Canada, across the lakes, across the Midwest and the East as well. So we'll still hold on to the kind of settled weather, high pressure domination over the western half of the country as we begin next week here. And this is a fairly substantial shot of cold air. Nothing out of the ordinary for January, but you can see here thickness values down to, say, for example, 1034 all the way down towards Charleston, South Carolina here, 522, 516 all the way down towards Baltimore here. So it's colder, but it's January. You expect to see that. Here's the first system coming down as we go through the day on Monday here, potentially dropping a few inches. But you notice the track, it's staying largely to the north of Minneapolis and Chicago here, crossing over the Great Lakes. How much it enters the New York City area remains to be seen. I think we're more likely to see heavier snow in Boston, for example. Then we've got another system that then comes into the western half of the country, so we start to resume the unsettled theme into the west. Still very chilly air across the northeast, but then there's a system that kind of rides over the top here, across the upper Midwest here, and we are going to see another snow event. Now, you notice here that we don't have the same bombardment of Pacific systems coming in. We do have a system early next week, but then it starts to clear on through, and we're left with high pressure once again. So it is a quieter pattern for California, that's for sure. High pressure and control over the northeast by next weekend, and again, thickness value is fairly low, so it represents some pretty cold air. But you notice here that we've got a system seen by the model over the mid-south, over the mid-Mississippi Valley, lifting northeastwards, and therefore we could see a significant ice event. But notice the track. It's staying way up towards the Great Lakes here as it moves northeast. So therefore, this could be a significant interior northeast snowstorm, but not a coastal event. Not a coastal event. We don't have that colder digging. The track of the system could change. It could head further south. It could focus more on the the big cities, for example. That remains to be seen here. But as of this moment in time, we don't seem to have an awful lot of snow in the I-95 corridor. Different story though, once you get towards the Great Lakes, and especially the upslopes of western upstate New York, we could see some very significant snowfall indeed. So we've got a bit more of an active pattern for the eastern half of the country. It doesn't look as if it's favourable for the big east coast cities. So not a big winter, that's for sure, for the I-95 this year. That's it for today. Do check out the written post for more. I'll be back again on Tuesday. Bye for now.